Hello, everyone. This is Jay Dobbins, your host of the Marvel DC Universe Fan Club. We're now episode 141, and I'll be doing my review on Aquaman, starring Jason Momoa. So, I saw the film, and I thought that it was pretty good. Oh, and by the way, spoiler alert: if you have not seen Aquaman, I strongly suggest that you do not listen to this episode. You've been warned. So, the movie takes place in, well, of course, the origin story takes place in 1985, but the film um, takes place after the events of Justice League, of course, and Batman vs Superman, but yeah, mainly Justice League. So, in 1985 Maine, lighthouse keeper Thomas Curry rescues Atlanta, the princess of the underwater nation of Atlantis, during a storm. They eventually fall in love and have a son named Arthur, who is born with the power to communicate with marine life forms. Atlanta is forced to abandon her family and return to Atlantis, entrusting to her loyal advisor, uh, entrusting to her loyal advisor, Nudius Volco, with the mission of training Arthur. Under Volko's guidance, Arthur becomes a skilled warrior, but is rejected by the Atlanteans for being a half-breed, and ultimately leaves Atlantis behind. 1 year after Steppenwolf's invasion, Arthur confronts a group of pirates attempting to hijack a Russian naval nuclear submarine. Their leader, Jesse Kane, dies during the confrontation, while his son David Kane vows revenge against Arthur. David later targets Atlantis at the behest of Orm, Arthur's younger half brother, and Atlantis King, who uses the attack as a pretext to declare war on the surface. King Nerys of Exable, sorry, Zabel, swears allegiance to Orm's cause, but his daughter Mara, who has been betrothed to Orm, refuses to aid them and journeys to the surface to ask Arthur for help, earning his trust by saving Thomas from a tidal wave sent by Orm. Arthur reluctantly accompanies Mara to a rendezvous with Volko, who urges Arthur to find the Trident of Atlan, a magic artifact that once belonged to Atlantis' first ruler, in order to reclaim his rightful place as king. Um, they are ambushed by Orm's men, and Mara and Volko escape without having been seen, while Arthur is captured. Orm visits um, Arthur in captivity and announces that Atlanta was executed for the crime of having a half-breed son. Blaming Arthur and the surface for her death, he offers Arthur a opportunity to leave forever. But Arthur instead challenges him to a duel in a ring of underwater lava. Orm, Orm gains the upper hand and nearly kills Arthur before Mera rescues him. Together, Arthur and Mera journey to the Sahara Desert, where the Trident was forged, and unlocked a hieroglyphic message that leads them to Sicily, where they retrieve the Trident's coordinates. Meanwhile, Orm provides David with Atlantean armor and weaponry and sends him to stop them. Imprisons Volko upon learning of his betrayal, and coerces the remaining kingdoms of Atlantis to pledge allegiance to him and his campaign against the surface. Meanwhile, David spends time heavily modifying Orm's technology. In Sicily, A fully armored David now calls himself Black Manta, ambushes Arthur and Mara, and injures Arthur before being thrown off a cliff to his apparent death. Mara nurses Arthur's wounds as they journey to the Triton's whereabouts and encourages him to embrace his destiny as a hero. Arriving at their destination, Arthur and Mara are attacked by a legion of amphibious monsters known as the Trench, but manage to fend them off and reach a wormhole that transports them to an uncharted sea located at the center of the Earth. There, they are unexpectedly reunited with Atlanta, who was sacrificed to the Trench for her crimes but managed to escape and reach the uncharted sea, where she has been stranded there ever since. Arthur faces Carathan, the mythical leviathan that guards the Trident, and voices his discrimination to protect both Atlantis and the surface, proving his worth in reclaiming the Trident, which grants him control over the seven seas. Orm and his allies lead an army against the crustacean forces of the kingdom of the Brine with the intent of completing Orm's surface battle preparations. However, Arthur, Mara, and Atlanta, with the assistance of Carathan, intervene and lead an army of marine creatures in battle against Orm and his followers, whom renounce their obedience to Orm and embrace Arthur as their true king upon learning he wields the trident. Arthur defeats Orm in combat, but chooses to spare his life, and Orm accepts his fate after discovering Arthur has found and rescued their mother. Atlanta returns to the surface to reunite with Thomas, while Arthur ascends to the throne with Mara by his side. In a mid-credit scene, Black Manta is rescued by Dr. Stephen Shin, a scientist obsessed with finding Atlantis, and agrees to lead Shin there in exchange for his help in his revenge on Arthur. So, I'm definitely going to give the movie, you know what, I'm giving that movie a 10, for sure, because the special effects was excellent. I love the writing, I love the cinematography, I love how I love the underwater special effects. Also love the background artwork, landscape of Atlantis. Beautiful. Um, the screenplay was excellent. They picked the right guy for the role, Jason Momoa, of course. Um, so yeah, it was. Of course, I do love Nicole Kidman too. So, but yeah, definitely an excellent movie, worth watching a second time, and definitely worth buying on iTunes. And Jason Momoa, very cool guy. Met him twice. I met him at Chicago Comic Con back in 2015, and I also met him. Well, I saw him again at Planet Comic Con this past February. So my friend Regina was able to meet him. Oh, and by the way, the movie made $488.2 million worldwide, and the production budget was between 160 to 200 million. So they pretty much got a whole lot of that production money back. So which is good. But definitely a good movie. I mean, I'm really hope that they could do a sequel to this. You know, which I do small sequel. So, but yeah, they should. I think you should continue to do more Aquaman films, and I do hope they do a Justice League movie later on. Oh, and by the way, um, Jason Momoa confirmed that Henry Cavill is still Superman. So he put all those rumors of Henry Cavill hanging up his cape to rest, pretty much. So he confirmed that Henry Cavill is still Superman. So we were like, yee! So I'm like, woo, yeehaw! So I'm pretty much happy about that still. So, but yeah, that concludes this review. Feel free to visit us and like us on Facebook. We are available on iTunes and the Google Play Music app. Oh, and I also want to wish everyone a Merry Christmas, of course,